Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So firstly, I want to wish you all a very happy new year 2026. So in today's video, I just want to share some thoughts on how you can get started in using AI coding agents to build your apps in 2026, or we say vibe coding with AI. So my vibe coding experience in 2025, well, I created or I developed 4 local projects with the help of AI coding agents. I deployed 2 projects on the web, and my AI coding agents of choice, or that I'm currently using, are AI Google Antigravity, Claude Code, Kesa, and OpenAI Codex. To tell you guys the truth, I'm keeping OpenAI Codex for now, but I don't really like the way it performs. I mean, I prefer Claude Code and Antigravity, but if I run out of credits with Antigravity, I use Claude Code, and then I also have Kesa as backup. With Antigravity, I'm running on the free plan. Okay, so the first thing that I think you should know is to learn how to use Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I'll create a separate video going into detail on how you should, how you can install and the interface of Visual Studio Code and all that. But Visual Studio Code is basically can be used to help build your app locally on your computer. Okay, I'm aware of the fact that you can use other AI coding agents like Replit to build your apps in the cloud, in their cloud environment. But with a tool like Visual Studio Code, it allows you to build your app locally on your computer and using an AI coding agent to assist you. Okay, so that's what I use. So I think you should learn Visual Studio Code. Why? Because Antigravity, the interface that's used in Antigravity, is very similar to VSCode. Okay. We also have a Claude Code extension available in VSCode, and we also have OpenAI Codex extension in VSCode. Okay, so I think it's worth investing some time learning how to use Visual Studio Code, or at least the interface. I'll create a separate video on this later on. Okay, so the second thing I think you should know in 2026 to get started is to create an account on GitHub. Okay, so basically Git is usually written Git. Okay, it's a version control system. It's a tool that helps you keep changes of your files. It's mostly coding files, right? So this is very good because as the AI agent is working on your application, it can make mistakes, right? So with using Git and the version control system, it allows you to create a development branch, okay, another working environment where the AI can work on first before adding those modifications to your production app or your production coding files. So GitHub will basically help you to separate your development phases while you're working on your dev tools or on your dev phase from the production one. Okay, so you can check out GitHub. There's also GitLab and Bitbucket. Okay, these are just websites that host these Git repositories online. Okay, and they're totally free. I have mine on GitHub. So one advantage of having a GitHub account or GitLab or Bitbucket account is that when you want to host your applications online, I'll show you later on in the demo of how I set mine up, because some of these platforms, they will connect your GitHub account or your GitLab or Bitbucket account in order to host your app. Okay, so it's a very good tool to know as well. And of course, the third point is to choose an AI coding agent. Okay, I would highly recommend Claude Code. And of course, there's also Google Antigravity, which you can try out because they've got a generous free plan for that. Okay, so I just want to show you guys my app deployed to production, right? It's right. So it's called the PNG homework generator. So basically, it's based on Papua New Guinea's curriculum, and it helps parents generate additional homework exercises for their children. So I used Claude Code to create this app. The front end it's a Next.js app. Okay, the back end it's running on Supabase, and I use GPT 5.2 to generate the questions. Okay, and it's hosting on Netlify and Supabase. I created this app with the help of Claude Code in about 6 hours. It took me about 6 hours to have the first version. Okay, and that was from development locally on my computer using Visual Studio Code right up to production. Okay, so let me show you the app that I'm talking about, this app here, the PNG homework generator. So this is the app that is now available on Netlify, as you can see on my link here. Okay, so this entire app was generated with the help of Claude Code. Okay, so I just love Claude Code. It just gets the job done. So basically what the app does is that the parents will access this app. They will click on generate homework now. They will select the subject. Currently, I just have maths for now. And then they will select the grade level. Okay, so for example, grade 3, and then they will select the difficulty level. For now, I've got the questions set up for easy and medium. I haven't generated the questions yet for hard. Okay, that's coming soon. And of course, they'll select their topic. Okay, so all this information here was extracted from a PDF file, and it was sent to the AI. Specifically, I'm using GPT 5.2 to generate the questions. Okay, so then the parent will select the topic and then click on, so scroll down, generate 10 questions. So I'm generating 10 questions per topic. Okay, so basically the homework details, the parent will know that the difficulty level is medium, the topic covered, the learning objectives, okay, and then the child will go through and try to answer the question, right? They've got a little hint here if they are not sure of how to approach this question. Okay, I've also made available a PDF document which contains the answers, right? So the parents will just click here, download the PDF with all the questions, but when you scroll down, they have the answer, the question, the answer, and a step-by-step working solution. Okay, you see this this formatting here. I've still got some corrections to do with Claude Code. Okay, but yeah, the main thing is that they can see the questions. Okay, so this application here, the questions, as I said, the questions were generated using OpenAI's 5.2 model. So, and it's all saved to the database. Okay, so that's where Supabase comes in. Okay, so I'm using Supabase online, their cloud platform online, to host the database for this app. Okay, because I pre-generated the questions and then save them to the database. So cost-wise for me, it's going to be a bit cheaper. Okay, and then of course this app is hosted on Netlify. Okay, and my files, my code files for this project is on GitHub. So all my apps here, they're on GitHub. Okay, so then I've got my project here. Let me just show you guys. It's the PNG homework generator. So as soon as I do my modifications on my computer, I push it all to GitHub. Okay, so it's all on GitHub. And then Netlify comes in and pulls the information from GitHub and hosts it on their website. Okay, so that's why I said it's important as well to know GitHub, not just for tracking the version control, but also for hosting your apps. Because there are tools like Netlify, there are platforms like Netlify that can host your web apps. Okay, so coming back to my app here. Yeah, so this was proudly vibe coded with the help of Claude Code. So it just works. It's Claude Code is just the best so far. Okay, so let me just show you guys Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this is Visual Studio Code. If you haven't seen it, don't worry about it. It's not that complicated. Okay, so in Claude Code, we install what we call the extensions. Okay, on the left-hand side, we've got extensions. Once I click that, you can search Claude Code. Okay, I've got Claude Code here. Just start it up. And then to open a window, a coding window in Claude Code, I just click on the Claude Code icon here. Okay, so as soon as I do that, I've got the Claude Code agent startup, and that's where I can start to prompt Claude Code to build my app. Okay, we also have OpenAI's Codex here. Okay, that's also an extension that was installed. Okay, so that's why I said you can, on the same project, if you go over your quota, your rate for Claude Code, you can also go on to using OpenAI Codex in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this Visual Studio Code, I've also got Antigravity running here. Okay, so Antigravity, as you guys can see, the interface is exactly the same as Visual Studio Code. It's a separate application, okay, but the interface is exactly the same. Okay, so it's worth your time to getting to know this interface, because then you can use Claude Code, Codex if you choose, and Antigravity. Okay, so once you set up your tools, whether in Visual Studio Code or Antigravity, you've got the source control option here. Okay, so this is where you're going to go in and connect all your repositories that you've created on GitHub, for example. So I've got all my projects here set up on GitHub. Okay. Okay, so I've got all my projects here set up on GitHub. Okay, it's all private projects. And on my Visual Studio Code, I can connect to these projects. So that's how I can push all the modifications that are done in Visual Studio Code directly to my GitHub account. Okay, so I may make a separate video on GitHub later on. So that's how it all connects together. Okay, so this is my application proudly built with Claude Code. It just gets the job done, and I'm so happy with Claude Code for now. I used all my credits for Claude Code for this week, so I cannot continue, but it's been just awesome. Okay, it's just been awesome building this tool with Claude Code. So there you go. This is just some thoughts that I wanted to share with you on how you can get started using AI coding agents to build your own apps in 2026. And you are not too late. We are just getting started, and I highly recommend spending some time and just getting started and building your own tools. Even if you don't use GitHub, just locally on your computer, just get started, just build a tool. And I wish you all the very best in your projects. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all in my next video.